Hello, everyone. My name is Nadir Carlson. I'm the Membership and Communications Coordinator for the National Association of Social Workers, the Wisconsin chapter. And I want to thank all of you for attending in person and virtually. Thank you so much. We can't do this conference without our presenters and without our attendees and exhibitors. Speaking of exhibitors, we have some great prizes from them. And we're going to spin the wheel. Okay, I can't. And the first prize is it's a mug. And I only have the abbreviation for the organization, TMG. Uh-oh. Yeah, I only have I'm so sorry. Okay, you're seeing it live. I've got my eyes closed. And the winner is Erica Kurth. Oh, I totally forgot to say, if you won a prize today, you're going to go to the back over by registration. So where you checked in, you're going to get a picture with your prize by the NASW picture wall. So congratulations, Erica. Our next prize is from Sharon S. Richardson Community Hospice. It's a self-compassion basket. So we're going to go ahead and pull that prize. I know. Staff can't win, Mark. Okay. Well, there's... Yeah. Samantha Clark, woo! Our next prize is from the Wisconsin Office of Children's Mental Health. It's a stainless steel mug. And if you don't get their emails, they have a lot of great resources. Tina Broman is the winner. Okay. And My Path has decided to give us a mug with a Starbucks gift card. William Broman. Brayman, you're right, Mark. Thank you. Okay, this has a mind of its own, so I'm not. And UW Green Bay has decided to give us a mug and a portfolio. Jabrina Diaz Bryhart. Woo-hoo. And Rogers Behavioral Health is giving us a Yeti/Stanley Cup as in parentheses. Those are definitely two different things. Oh, well, this is interesting. Look, everybody, I'm trying to show the camera. There's no name. So I can't give somebody that award. Um, Magallan Yorki? I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. And then Boundary Care has given us another gift basket. And the winner is Cassandra Raymond. Oh, and you even gave us your photo. Who is also a new member today. I guess I gave that away before we get to that part of the list. And then Concordia University has given us a gift basket. Tanya Lundo. Woohoo! We can clap. And then Home Style Direct has given us another gift basket. Woohoo! Oh, Tim Lettermere. Thank you, Mark. Like 5 more. The Lifetime Pilots is giving us a t-shirt, a hat, and a mug. I saw it earlier. It looks really cool. You know, the online folks aren't hearing your banter, Mark, just so you know. Kara Hall. And then Q-Medic. Oh, I don't see a Q-Medic. Oh, a Walker Squawker? I'm not exactly sure what that is. Oh, I know what they were showing it. It looks really cool. And the person who wins is Danielle Porlex Rebel. And then the Office of Deaf and Hard of Hearing is giving us 2 Deaf and Hard of Hearing books, and they're part of DHS. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that name. Victoria Phillips. And then the last for our in-person folks is from Relief Mental Health. It's a backpack and blanket. Oh my. Okay, well, one jumped out at me, so I'm going to do it. Diana Johnston. And then for our, hold on one sec. For our virtual folks, thank you so much for filling out that form. There are 2 $25 gift cards. Jabin Hintez is one, and then Helen Crincy has won another one, and you will receive that via email. So congratulations to all of those award recipients. And now our new members. No, we were supposed to do a new member thing. I am going to take a brief break to introduce our new members. Perfect. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Kim Howard, NASW President, Wisconsin Chapter President.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Kim Howard. I'm the current president of NASW Wisconsin, and it is an honor to officially convene the 2025 meeting and awards ceremony. Today is about celebration and recognizing the individuals who make our work impactful and help to drive the profession and the mission of social work as well as NASW Wisconsin. So we'll begin by recognizing our board members. For any board member that is present, once your name is called, please stand. Rob Brown, Joan Gressel, Amy Kirby, Paul Perales, Stephen Miller, Heidi Pritzel, and Cleopatra Castaneda. Thank you all for your service and for your leadership. For those who couldn't join us today, we still honor you. We honor the work that you do and the impact that you make. And next, we'll recognize the leaders of our committees and networks. If you are here, please stand once your name is called. Adam Barbender of the Disability Network. Jennifer Burrowback, the chair of the Professional Standards and Regulations Committee. Antoinette Davis, the chair of the DEI Committee. Joan Gressler, the chair of the Continuing Education Committee. Corky Hemp, the chair of the Legislative Social Policy Committee. Thank you all for your outstanding dedication and to the mission of NASW Wisconsin. Did I forget someone? Oh, I am sorry. I forgot someone. Roberta Klinicki, the chair of the Clinical Network Committee, one of our longest standing committees. Now we acknowledge our past presidents. If you are present, please stand to be recognized. Daphne Berman, Joan Gressel, Corky Hemp, Emily Kinney, Mark Schmidt, Don Shelton Williams, and Christy Wood. Thank you all for laying the foundation that we continue to build on today. We also want to honor and welcome several dignitaries. Please stand if you are here today. Daphne Berman, NASW National Region 5 Board. Board. Jess Bowers, Wisconsin Examining Board. Dr. Willie Johnson Jr., Milwaukee County Board. Dr. Nicholas Smear, Eau Claire County Board. And Paul Pace, Social Work Advocates Magazine. Thank you for your continued support of the social work profession. And we have a very special recognition today. Please join me in celebrating Corky Hempel, who has reached 50 years of membership with NASW. And now we'll be moving on to the awards presentation. To begin our formal awards, I'd like to invite Tim Marco to present the Public Service Award.
Give me a moment, I have a few pages of notes. No, I don't. Lighten up. Oh my goodness, you just had a good lunch. Settle down. I am honored to be here to present the award to Michelle Castile. A couple reasons I know why Michelle asked me to present this award to her. Number one, I never turned down a free lunch. And let me tell you, this is the 4th time that I've been in the Dells this month. And this is the best meal that I've had, just so you know. Really good meal. The second reason is because she has a sense of humor, and she knows that I laugh every time I have to put on a suit and a tie. This is not my normal attire at all. I worked really hard in my profession to get to a point where I didn't have to do this every day, and yet you made me. The other reason that I need to let you all know is that I am a charter member of the Association of Spectacular Speakers Emoting Stories. For those of you who like acronyms, figure it out. IYKYK. I just like saying that out loud. It looks so much better than in the text. But that means that whenever I speak, I have to speak for a minimum of 15 minutes, according to the bylaws of the Association of Spectacular. Anyway. So please feel free to let me know when my time is up. I usually get playoff music. Thank you. I am so excited when I read the letters of recommendations, when I read what this award is all about. Because for the last decades of my life, I've been working out of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, out of the Weisman Center, working with families who have children with special health care needs and disabilities. I myself am a father of a 28, soon-to-be 28-year-old with autism and mental health challenges. My daughter, 27 years old, also has some mental health challenges. This is a path that I've had to walk that I never expected that I would walk in the area of special health care needs, of looking for resources, of finding support, of finding people who wanted to listen to my story and not just tell me theirs. It's been a journey. And I'm excited because I just want to let you know, because I am a narcissist. But I'm aware of it. My therapist says this is a really good step. I then told him he was lucky to be my therapist, that not many people got that honor. But this previous year, I belonged to an association called the Association of Maternal Child Health Programs. It's a nationwide organization. They honored me with the McPherson Award for excellence in collaboration between family and professional partnerships. That intersection for families is so hard. It's hard for them to understand. It's hard for them to break into. It's hard for them, for their voices to be accepted and heard. Now, why do I mention that besides the fact that I'm a narcissist? It's because it's at that intersection that Michelle lives. It's at that intersection that Michelle brings people based on her past, her experience, her pain that she has worked through to the extent that she can then invite other people's stories in, listen to them to validate them, to help them find the resources that they need so that their families can thrive. And then not only that, she takes it a step further and she starts to interact with the systems that continue to hold our families back and that continue to keep families in poverty and lack of resources. And so it's because of those reasons that I am so excited to be able to be here with her. I believe that she embodies personal strength. She embodies resilience. She embodies empathy. You've heard enough of my words. Some of you said yes about 5 minutes ago, Tim. But I want to read you some of the recommendation, not the whole letters, trust me. I've been there, done that, and excuse me, I am getting a little older. And with my age, it means my glasses come off. Thank you for the cheaters. I don't need the cheaters. My eyes are such that my wife has cheaters everywhere. She got in my car the other day. She's like, "What are these doing here?" I'm like, "I don't know, honey. I don't really go around, getting your cheaters and hiding them on you. So obviously you put them there." I did not say that out loud. I've been married long enough that it stayed here. Okay, just so you know. But this is what an advocacy committee member from NAMI said. He has never met someone more committed to change, no matter how hard the path. She advocates for children with disabilities, rural parents, and people who have been left out without a voice. She does this work with integrity and kindness. She's just driven by truth, and she doesn't give up. A parent peer says that she helped me find my voice when I thought I had none. As a parent of a child with special needs, I was drowning in paperwork, judgments, and denials. Michelle stepped in, helped me understand the system, guided me through my rights, and encouraged me to keep going. She doesn't just talk about advocacy, she lives it. She's the reason I joined an advocacy group. The ability to replicate passion, to continue the work that we can't do because we need more people out there doing advocacy. And then from a colleague, her life and work are a testament to the power of lived experience to drive systemic change, promote equity, and inspire others to believe in the power of one voice. She transformed pain into purpose. She serves as the vice chair of one of the coolest acronym places that I've ever heard, vice chair of the Support People and Empower Recovery Coalition, SUPER. I love that. I want to be part of SUPER. How do I join SUPER? And then finally, her story, Michelle's story, abandoned advocate, now serves as both a warning and a beacon, a compelling narrative of what happens when systems fail, because the system has failed her, and what it looks like to rise through the darkness. She has. Through public speaking, storytelling, and mutual aid, Michelle empowers other marginalized parents, particularly those navigating disability, poverty, and single parenthood. She uplifts others not through institutional power, but through determination, integrity, and truth-telling. It is my honor to award Michelle Castile with the Public Service Award.
How many of you have felt like you're drowning in cases? Like no matter how hard you try, the system is working against you. 4 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mother of two who kept routines and such. What? Is that better? Okay, I'll start over. How many? Is it better?
It's my fault for being so tall.
I know, right?
I know, my fault.
Okay. How many of you have felt like you're drowning in cases? Like no matter how hard you try, the system is working against you. 4 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mother of 2 who kept routines and such an overly tidy home that if you were dust in my house, you wouldn't stand a chance against my powerful bottles of pledge. I enjoyed watching a few too many episodes of Roseanne and way too much Michelle from Full House. I loved my quiet, predictable life. And then an overabundance of doors slammed shut in my families all at once, creating a perfect storm and shattered my sense of safety and trust. A government program promised to make our home safer and energy efficient. Instead, it turned my family's home into a nightmare. Contractors overfilled our attic, blocking the soffit vents for airflow. They replaced our water heater and furnace, causing dangerous combustion fumes to backdraft and filling the air we breathe with harmful chemicals and building materials. My once tidy home became a real-life building science mystery when everything fabric from carpeting, bedding, and furniture became like a sponge and filled with cellulose and fiberglass. Imagine what vacuuming a beach in every single room of your home would be like, and it never goes away. I spent my nights researching and worrying if it would ever stop. I sought help from every avenue and system meant to support, only to be met with silence, mocking, and denials. My calls were hung up on, and my complaints were constantly passed around, and in the end, a senator's chief of staff looked at me and said, "Michelle, the state of Wisconsin will not help you." And the door slammed shut. Upon investigating what was happening in our home, well water tests showed high nitrates. A grant from the state was available and provided us a brand new well, and I thought the problem was solved. But it turned out to be drilled too close to our septic mound system, and it kept pumping sand into our drinking water. I tried to inform the oversight from the DNR, but they stated that my photos showing the sand and well were too close, were not sufficient enough, and that I was wrong. And this door slammed shut. My children were denied IEPs at school because they didn't see a problem. And when the superintendent contacted my daughter's doctor without my knowledge, I was told that there was too many documents in my complaint, and it would not be investigated. And this door slammed shut. Then it became something I never thought would be possible, a college student. But when it came time for me to complete my fieldwork for my social work major, I was told fieldwork cannot be completed remotely or with modifications for a disability. And this door slammed shut. When you are a mother begging for help, and everyone paints you as a problem for advocating for basic necessities, I developed severe anxiety, depression, and PTSD that left me feeling helpless, broken, and incredibly alone. But I don't want to stand here and tell my story about broken systems. I want to stand here and say that we, as social workers, have a responsibility to meet others with integrity and protection. When I look to the program managers, the caseworkers, and the oversight coordinators, those values to meet people where they're at failed to meet me where I stood as I begged for help. But I'm also not here to place blame. I'm here to say that the system itself is to blame. Because when you're drowning in cases, denial becomes the easiest box to check. But drowning in burnout shouldn't be how we as helpers are viewed. And when the next parent calls you desperate for help, don't beat on a door that slams shut. Be the one to finally open it. Thank you to the NASW Wisconsin chapter for awarding me this moment I won't ever forget, and for being a door that opened. And thank you to Tim for being a person who holds the door open for others, and your humor has also given me strength and support that reminds me why this work matters. Don't let broken systems break you so badly that you become another slammed door. Fight for the caps on caseloads. Demand trauma-informed training. Because somewhere out there's another mom crying in her kitchen, waiting for someone to open the door. I'm asking you to kick it open, because that's what social workers are meant to do. Thank you.
And next, we will have our Executive Director's Report by Mark Hertzstand. And I just want to acknowledge that this is Mark's 32nd year with NASW Wisconsin.
Yeah, I didn't have any gray hair when I started 33 years ago. So we do age, don't we? So I want to start by extending my thanks to our great President Kim Howard, who's been a great leader for us and a tireless worker, helping our committees and our task forces by her personal involvement and direction. Thank you, Kim. And I have a wonderful board of directors that I work for that are very active in our committees and leadership, and I'm so appreciative of both those that are here and those that are not able to come today. And I also want to give my thanks to our wonderful committee chairs. Some have been there for decades, and they do a wonderful job also moving our agenda over. Also, I want to thank, our work is carried out, and we're so successful because I have two wonderful staff. Every day I come to work, I'm so grateful that I have Christina Jasmine and Adair Carlson. They do a wonderful job. So please thank them. And we also have wonderful interns. I think Rochelle is here. Elena could not make it, but we have great interns as well, and that helps us do what we do. So I want to start by talking about the area of advocacy, which is obviously is a core function in social work practice, and we try to model that and be leaders in that in the Wisconsin chapter, and there's many ways we do. Our work never ends. There are now challenges on the national level, immediate challenges, with the impending loss of food stamps, and we have put out our Massachusetts chapter started a national social work petition, and I instructed our staff, our interns, to put together a list of all the food banks in the state that we have sent out information to our members about. But it's also important that we all speak out and contact your congressmen and senators and tell them you've got to continue the food stamps. This is inexcusable. It has never happened in our history, and it should not happen now. So please contact them. I know there's also a lawsuit going on. Thank God there's a lawsuit, and hopefully that will force the current administration to do that. Now, this year we had a major success, many of you are aware of. After 7.5 years of struggle, the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled in our favor in a lawsuit that was brought by Governor Tony Evers on our behalf to stop the Joint Committee on Review of Administrative Rules from repeatedly suspending our conversion therapy ban in our own profession. Now, it was 7.5 years of struggle. Now, you may be aware that the U.S. Supreme Court this moment is reviewing a case from Colorado regarding their ban on conversion therapy. I don't know at this point how that might impact us when they rule. I have contacted the attorney for Department of Safety and Professional Services and also our national office, and they'll be monitoring that, and we'll be looking at that and doing everything possible to obviously continue the ban on that terrible, terrible practice. Our number one priority in this legislative session has been passage of the Social Work Licensure Compact, which has passed in the State Assembly, and it's passed out of a Senate committee. I did, chat with Senator James and Senator Kieski, who were at our legislative panel. Some of you were there. They're both very supportive and our co-sponsors. The last stage is it needs to be brought to a vote in the Senate floor. Once it is, it'll pass probably unanimously. Any of you that have Republican state senators, please contact them and tell them to get their majority leader to bring it to a vote, because it's basically has to be brought to a vote on the floor. We also have a lobbying firm that we've hired this year to help us get the bill through. But you can also, if you have a Republican senator, do your part. Call them, next week, or send them an email and say, we need you to get your majority leader to bring it to a vote. Another bill we're working on is the alternative licensure exam bill, and actually the Republican representative who was at our legislative panel is the lead sponsor on that bill. This is a bill that would allow those who do not pass the BSW, MSW exam to get a 3-year non-renewable provisional social work credential, during which time they could work as a social worker, and after 2,000 hours of supervision, they could become credentialed. So we are working on that bill. It's interesting that those of you that heard our speaker, Trey, on Wednesday, he mentioned that he had failed the exam twice, and here now he's going for a PhD. This bill has been opposed by the Association of Social Work Boards, which is a national group that they have the exam. Obviously, they make millions of dollars on it, and they have every state that has either proposed to get rid of it, which we aren't, or to do an alternative path, which we are. They have hired high-priced lobbyists to oppose, and which they've done in this state. I have met with their lobbyist, who was a former Republican state representative, and we also had Kim and I, along with our Vice President Kendra Higgins, we actually met with the president, the CEO of the Association of Social Work Boards. I basically told her to back off, that this looks really bad for the profession and is not collegial. And, and she expressed concerns, there's misinformation about the exam. I said, if there's misinformation about the exam, you can register for information purposes. So I hope that she heard the message. And they need to also communicate with NASW, which they've never done. Hopefully maybe after we've talked to them, they'll start talking to the NASW chapters before they come in and hire these high-priced lobbyists. And so we're working on that. It's been introduced in 2 committees. We're waiting for hearings. Now, one of the issues that we'll be definitely working on in the future, it relates to the high price of college education, and it relates to loan forgiveness and paid student placements. So we recently, in the last few years, we have done studies of student debt load, and actually one of our great former interns who's taking pictures did the study. Francesca in the back there did a wonderful study for us on the debt load that students have, which is appalling compared to the salaries that they make. And I'm very concerned that people are not coming into our profession who we need from diverse populations, but everybody else, and then people leave the profession once they realize that the salaries, they're adequate, but they're not great enough to necessarily pay off the loans. Some people have to pay, may spend 20 years paying the loan off, and that is just not right. Every other developed country in the world, education is really cheap, and that's something we don't do well in our country. So loan forgiveness is one of the bills we were looking at. Senator Jesse James, who some of you heard in the legislative panel, he is working on a bill right now that for NASW, the Marriage and Family Therapists, special counselors, it's a pilot project that would provide 10, $20,000 loans for MSW and MA graduates who agreed to stay in the state for a couple of years. They're working to try to get an assembly sponsor and then hopefully get into the budget, not this year, but the next legislative session. In addition, we did student focus groups at the same time that we did these surveys. And one of the biggest issues, I'm looking at Carthage, they probably can relate to that, is the need for paid student placements. And that's another thing that would really help getting people into our profession and keep them in, so they don't have to. It'll just help them so they don't have such a big debt load when they get out. So I heard that the Democrats were looking at to try to do some bills, and they're not going to get it passed now, but for the future. So I met, along with our intern, we met with the chair of the leading Democrat and Jody Emerson with the Assembly Committee on Colleges and Universities, and she asked me to get the numbers of student interns that there are in a year's basis, which I got from the Wisconsin Council on Social Education, which I work very closely with, tremendous, really appreciate their work. And what I also did is our wonderful interns researched all the programs around the country that either have passed just a few on paid student placements and the bills. And so I sent that to Representative Emerson. So this is clearly something we need to work on in the future. It'll be easier if the power shifts in the next election, but these are two issues that are really, critical to our, future generation, of social workers. Two other future issues I want to mention, and one of them did come up in the legislative session, but it relates to artificial intelligence and social work practice. Some of you who may read the New York Times like I do, they've had articles, terrible articles about people who have used artificial intelligence for their therapy, and then some have committed suicide. They say, well, we've got all these systems in place, the companies do, but the people figure out ways of getting around that, and people are just using that for therapy. So the Illinois chapter of NASW and the Nevada chapter of NASW got bills passed. They're the first bills in the country passed to prohibit artificial intelligence from doing therapy, and Nevada's also for doing school social work. So a few weeks ago, I contacted the Wisconsin Psychological Association and the Wisconsin Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, and I said, would you like to meet with us to talk about artificial intelligence and also clawbacks, which is an issue our clinical social workers. And the Psychological Association said, well, funny thing, we're actually meeting with Senator Kieski about this, and so we will be joining the Psychological Association to meet with Senator Kieski, who was also at our legislative panel, and she's the only licensed mental health professional in the legislature. I did send her the Illinois and the Nevada thing, so we're going to start the work to do this. For those of you who are here at our town hall meeting, you can see some of the challenges that we as a profession face and we need to be on top of in terms of artificial intelligence, and we definitely need to control how it's being used for mental health therapy. So those things that we're looking at. Now, as some of you know that I was gone on medical leave for 2 months and left my wonderful two staff, Nadira and Christina, with a lot of work, including our every other year advocacy day. I didn't purposely pick that time to leave, by the way, but we still had a great advocacy day that they both worked on, and we had over 350 students and practitioners, and the issues I've talked to you about, our attendees went up and spoke to their legislators about, and we had experts who spoke about these issues. So we did train the attendees on loan forgiveness, paid student placements, the compact, the alternative licensure exam bill, postpartum coverage of 1 year through Medicaid, which the representative is working on, gun violence, which is a huge issue, and many of you know that I've been working on this for several decades, and also raising the age of mandatory referral from 17 to 18. So all those issues are issues that we are working on. We have been working on that, and we're parts of coalitions that are working on those issues. We've, in the past, a number of years ago, I organized a coalition of gun violence prevention groups and mental health groups to try to get red flag legislation through. And I know that there are Republicans with sensitivity to these issues, but they're scared of their shadow and they won't come onto it. And so that leads me to PAC. It's become clear and clear to me throughout the years how critical it is that we elect people that will support our profession and the social justice issues that we work on, which is what our PAC does. The last number of sessions, we have hired political organizers with using our PAC money, and we've also had assistance from National to mobilize social work students and social workers both to vote, but we also publicize the policy differences between the candidates, and we speak to as many colleges, social work programs as will have us. And we intend to do that again in the 2026 elections. Now, we are getting started on our PAC activities for, we haven't had a social worker in the legislature, or much less an ASW member, for decades. But there's one running right now, and you have in your folders, you have her information. Jessica Seawright is running in the 21st District. It's in the Milwaukee area, and I urge you to support her financially, volunteer. It'd be just really wonderful to have an NASW member there. And that's also a key district. It's one of the 5 districts that will determine if the Democrats flip the assembly. And we'll be working, we are bipartisan, and we have endorsed Republicans who are really supportive of us, and the 2 of the best Republicans who have been wonderfully supportive of us were here today. So we do support Republicans. At the same time, we work to get party control that we know will support our social justice bills as well as our professional bills. So watch that and keep involved and supportive of that. We have a very active legislative social policy committee operating on behalf of all of you. Our wonderful interns under my direction, they research bills that are introduced or drafts that are introduced every month. And, I work with them, and they contact our sister associations and professionals that I know have expertise in the areas when we're not sure about a bill. And then we bring it to the legislative committee, and then we take positions on that. And this is public information, and I've gotten calls from the press, and I've gotten calls from other organizations, asking about our position on that. But this is another way. And we also register our positions at legislative hearings, and we also speak at hearings, of course, as well. So we do what we can to, basically promote our values and our bills. And we also do that on a national level to some extent. Now, at the national office, there are people that do the work that we do, lobbyists, and then they look at legislation and bills, things like telemental health is, the issue that we have about right now, because there isn't a budget that's passed. The previous regulations that allow people not to have to do in person every 6 months or a year, those are bills that our national office is working on, and there's bills on school social work and many other things that impact us. NASW itself has a very specific bill that is very pertinent to clinical social workers that we have worked on. And it's the Expanding Senior Access to Mental Health Services Act. And this bill would require Medicare for the first time to reimburse clinical social workers providing therapy in skilled nursing facilities. Now, right now, clinical social workers will get reimbursed if you can provide the services in a nursing home, in assisted living, in a senior center, somebody's home. But if they move into a skilled nursing facility through a really weird quirk in a budget reconciliation that passed several decades ago, you can't get reimbursed. So and they also can't get reimbursed for health behavior assessment intervention services. So there's a bill that we've been working on, and what we did in Wisconsin, there may be a few of you that are actually at the meetings. We organized virtual meetings with the offices of Congressman Brian Stile, Mark Pocan, and Gwen Moore, and to ask them to sign on as sponsors. One of the things in Congress, to even get a hearing, you have to have a certain number of people signed on. So we had those meetings, and we're going to follow up to make sure that they hopefully sign on. We're also involved in a lot of coalition works. Gun violence is a huge one. Mental health bills, Raise the Age Coalition. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about our membership work that Nadir Carlson is leading our efforts on. We We do social work months. Obviously, March is social work month, and we try to do everything we can to honor the wonderful work that you do. Milwaukee and Madison areas always have programs, and sometimes often Green Bay and Eau Claire and other parts of the state. In the last year, we had a program in the South Central on immigration and uncertain times, what social workers need to know, which is even more important right now. And then the Southeast branch did a program on social workers can support clients in the 2025 political climate. Yeah, funny thing, it's gotten worse than that. But we continue to work to educate our members and to raise up people that are doing advocacy efforts. And we're going to be doing that in 2 weeks in Milwaukee at the Zufaria Center. We're looking at the impact of the Trump administration on food. How relevant is that? And we have someone from Hunger Task Force, Immigration. We have someone from the 16th Street Community Health Center. Some of you may have heard of Gabriela Diegas' presentation. Someone that works with her will be presenting. And then Emily Kenny, one of our own, will be talking about housing issues and how that's impacted and what we can do. We are working, another membership service that we are working on is clinical supervision training. And, several years ago, we were contacted by a number of members saying, can you recommend some social workers do clinical supervision? There are people that graduated with their MSW and became a CAPSW and got a job, but they weren't being provided supervision. They had to do it on their own. So we decided that we needed to do something about that. So we are starting our clinical supervision training program for 10 hours. And it should be, our first training program should be by the end of this year, and we'll have another one next year. Now, the Examining Board of Social Workers, Marriage and Family Therapists, Professional Counselors is looking to set a requirement of 30 hours for clinical supervision for people between 3 and 5 years of post-master's experience. And I told them that we don't have an objection to that. Now, we had conversations with our clinical network, but I'm telling them you need to have at least a 2-year transition period, because there are people now who are doing clinical supervision who have less than 5 years, and we want them to be able to continue to do that. So we're going to be urging that. I'm going to be urging that when it comes up for a hearing, and we'll probably expand our training program as well. We have many networks that enable people to connect. I mean, this obviously all of you are here see what a wonderful place it is to connect with people and to see that you are not alone. That's one of the things, a little off tangent, but I wasn't able to go to a lot of sessions, but the sessions that I went to, one that our keynote speaker did on working with black men. I went to Gabriella's, working with immigrant families. And, I could see that, all of you are doing wonderful work, and some of you are isolated, and this is a time where you can connect and see you are not alone and get support. It's so really important. And that's also a role for our networks that we have. Obviously, our clinical network, which actually I've been here 33 years. They've been here a lot longer than that, like 40 years or something like that. So they support clinical social workers. We have a listserv. Anytime I get something important from Nashville related to clinical stuff, rules or anything, I forward it on to the listserv. There's lots of communication. But we also have a rural mental health and just rural committee, a healthcare network that Kim has really been helpful on, a Pride network, which has gotten revitalized, a disability network that Adam is working on, and we have an emerging Jewish network, which met for the first time. If you have other types of areas of practice that you would like to create a network on and be able to connect with other NASW members, contact me. We have a process that you go to the board, you come up with a purpose, and then once you get a steering committee of 3 people, and if you're approved by the board, then we do all sorts of promotion to help you get established. And you might have a luncheon here as well. A few other things. We continue to be one of only 4 states in the country that has the BIPOC Student Leadership Program. they're worth that. Yeah, and started by one of our Dawn, who you'll hear more about, helped start that, and Pat program, and that's continues to go strong. We basically provide mentors, leadership training, monthly programming to future BIPOC leaders of our profession and our community. We have student ambassador program, which is also leadership training for people to represent us on different campuses. Our student interns have gotten, they get great experience and they get really neat roles. One of them is sitting here and now works for Senator Latanya Johnson, and we have other people that have done some really remarkable work. I do want to say that Nadir started a weekly, so that we have information we send out to every week about what things are going on and networking things. And on a day-to-day basis, we also do bread and butter things for our members. Almost every day, I respond to members' questions on the phone or through email, and I also help people with ethical and practice issues, which come up all the time. We work with some of the most challenging situations in our society that aren't necessarily supported even by our places that we work, and so we get those kind of questions, and NASW is here to support you and have your back. So finally, I just want to say, if you're not a member, please join. We need you. We are here for you. We need you to be there with us. And if you're a member, also please join our committees. With that, I want to turn it back over to Kim to continue with our programming.
Thank you so much, Mark. So we will resume with the awards. And next, I would like to call up Melina Young.
Good afternoon. I sound good up here.
Yes.
I'm kidding. Okay, so I don't have any jokes like Tim. And Mark, I want to meet these interns because at least 50 times I've heard how great these interns are. So where are they? Are they here? No? No interns? The interns aren't here?
I think we've got one here. The other one had to leave.
Okay, well, let's just give it up for them because, listen, you mentioned them so many times. All right, so my name is Melina Young. You said that great. And here is
Carla Kimber.
And we're a team. All right, so I'm going to do my part, and then she's going to come do hers, and we're going to continue this afternoon. All right, so good afternoon, and I'm going to read my script because I go off script all the time, and then Tasha never lets me take the podium, and it takes a long time for me to recover. So I'm going to read, and then we'll keep it going. Okay. It is my absolute honor and privilege to stand before you today to present the 2025 NASW of Wisconsin Distinguished Social Worker Award to a woman whose work has only transformed communities, but has challenged systems, shifted culture, and breathed new life into what mental wellness looks like for the Black and brown people across Wisconsin. Tasha Wiggins, where do we begin? She is a therapist. She's a visionary. She's a culture shifter. She's a servant leader, a wife, a mom, a sister, and aunt. You see where this is going, right? But above all, she's a woman who shows up for people, for purpose, and for healing. Through her innovative trap therapy model, Tasha has redefined how mental health services can be delivered using music, rhythm, and I mean rhythm. Like, I don't know if y'all have experienced it, but we get down, okay? We got a live DJ on the set. It goes down, okay? And real life language to connect with people in a way that not only culturally relevant, but deeply effective. She has created brave spaces where individuals who once left out of the conversation now feel seen, they feel heard, and empowered to seek more help. But her reach extends far beyond the therapy room. Tasha is a trainer, she's a speaker, she's a scholarship provider, because we give out money We raise money and we give out scholarships to our youth. She is also a community advocate. Whether she's speaking at conferences, partnering with schools, or sitting in intimate circles with people who've experienced trauma, her presence alone is healing. What's most powerful is that Tarsha's impact isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. She leads with empathy. She listens with her heart. She fights for dignity and wellness of those who've been overlooked and underdeserved for far too long. Tarsha, you have made therapy accessible. You've made wellness approachable. That was good. I wrote that. I'm sorry, I wrote that. And I'm trying not to get emotional because we're going to take a break. Now I'm going off script. I only got 2.5 minutes because I'm going to give her the other 2.5 because, Tim, you did like 15. But seriously, I'm going back to the script and then I'm going to come back because we got to get this out because that just touched me. You made healing look like us. And for that, this profession and this world is better. On behalf of the National Association of Social Workers of Wisconsin chapter, on behalf of our family, as someone who has witnessed your heart, your hustle firsthand, it is my great joy to present you with the 2025 Distinguished Social Worker Award. Hold your applause, because she got to talk now.
Hello, everybody. I am so privileged to stand here. We affectionately call Tarsha Wiggins the little big sister. So you can fill in that, the little big sister. But I want to tell a brief story about a man, and then I'm going to lead right into what I'm going to say. There is a man, his birth name is Joseph. He's from the family of Levi. He lived so out loud. He lived so out loud that he was nicknamed Barnabas, which means son of encouragement. And that reminds me of my sister. That reminds me of who she is, a woman of grace, a woman of integrity, a woman of honor, a woman of vision, a woman that cares about her community, a woman that makes uncomfortable conversation seem easy and pliable and digestible. So I think about after spaces of the trap therapy, of combination of music and therapy, where people are calling for her to be in a corner, talking to them about their personal issues, and she is willing to take the time and do the energy to put into that work to do it for people that are in desperate and dire need of their mental health to be at peace. So I stand here because she is a woman that is a creative catalyst impacting the community. And we stand here, we honor you, we appreciate you, we see you, and you're living out loud just like Barnabas did. So Melina and I stand here as a part of our family to honor you today. And we thank you, and we give you thanks for recognizing her because she is doing the work, and she's faithful and dedicated. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, when you're usually the one that has the strong words and the charisma and the swag, it's different when people speak life into you. All right, mushy stuff out the way. Let's work. Good afternoon, everyone. As they have eloquently said and stated several times today, my name is Tarsha Wiggins, and I am so grateful to stand before you and to receive the award as the NASW 2025 Distinguished Social Worker of the Year. I am so honored to take that today. It's also an honor to be recognized by my peers, the people who know the sacrifice, those of you that know the work that comes with the advocacy and the heart this profession demands. It means more than words can express, but I'm going to give it a go. When I think about my journey, I think about my mother first. My mom came from very humble beginnings. There were no privileges, there were no shortcuts, and there were no promises. Just grit, faith, and an unshakable belief that God had more for her in life. She modeled perseverance every single day, even when the odds said no. She taught me that being bold wasn't about being loud. It was about standing firm in your purpose, walking in integrity, and trusting God's plan is always bigger than our pain. That lesson became the foundation of my work, the belief that no matter where someone stands, where they start, hope can rewrite your career, my career, their life. Today, I want to leave 3 key takeaways for you all. And this is not just for us new social workers, us wannabe in training social workers, but it's for all of us and us super seasoned social workers. These are the 3 things I want to share with you. 1, remember your why. In a profession that can sometimes leave us drained and questioning if we're making a difference, always return to your why. The paperwork, the policies, the systems, they matter. But it's the people that bring purpose to what we do. Never lose sight of that sacred connection. 2, lead with cultural humility and compassion. We are living in a time where communities, especially those historically marginalized, need not just our service, but our understanding. Cultural humility isn't a skill, it's a lifestyle. It's about showing up as a learner, listening deeper than you speak, and remembering that healing happens when people feel seen. And 3rd, be bold in your calling. For me, social work isn't just a job. It's not a fun title. It's not something that I went to school for 6 years for and then work a really low-paying job to accrue all 3,000 of my clinical hours just to get to some other stuff I'm going to do on the other side. No, social work for me wasn't a job. It's ministry in motion. There will be moments when you'll be called to speak truth to power. There'll be moments where you'll have to challenge systems that try to silence. And there'll be moments when you have to advocate when it is very uncomfortable. Be bold anyway. Do it anyway. Your voice just might be the bridge between injustice and transformation. And now before I close, I want you to have a moment of reflection and celebration with me. If you've ever shown up for someone when it wasn't easy, I invite you to stand up. If you've ever used your voice to lift someone who couldn't find theirs, I invite you to stand up. If there is if you've ever pushed through exhaustion, doubt, or fear and still chose compassion, I want to invite you to stand up. If you're standing next to someone that is still sitting down, I want you to invite them to stand with you and tell them they got it next time. Look around you. This is what perseverance looks like. This is what faith and action looks like. This is what being a social worker looks like. A change agent, a bridge builder, a vessel of change and hope. Now I want you to take a moment and I want you to clap for yourselves because the work that you do matters, the lives that you touch matter, and the legacy we are building matters. Thank you, NASW, for this distinguished award. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. And go out, be bold, be great, and be you.
And next, I will call up Miss Patricia Parker to present the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Good afternoon. No, I'm not clever and funny and all that. I'm going to get to the point where I will get mushy. It is such an honor to be here to celebrate my friend, my comrade, my ace, Mrs. Dawn Shelton Williams. We met, I'm going to say it's in the 80s. That's all you get. We met in the 80s, and I believe I was at St. A's doing a workshop or something, and our mutual friend, Amara Weaver, I think she introduced us. I had to sneak some questions into her because I didn't want her to know I was the one who was kind of involved in this. And she just impressed me as a very polished and professional woman. At that time, well, shortly after that time, I was recruited to do some training and be on the staff of the National Resource Center for Family-Centered Practice. And then they gave me, we got a contract, 600 people had to train in Baltimore, Maryland, because they needed some color. Okay, we just gonna put it that way. And I was like, there's not a lot of us in the field. But when I thought about who could I call on to show up and bring her A game, her best game, because she was polished, she was prepared, and she was very good at what she did, I called my new friend, Dawn Shelton Williams. And she showed up and did not know the content. This is 8-day training for people who do training, 8 days. Now, I don't know what she said to you, Claude, about it, but she didn't say nothing to me. She showed up, she went through the training, and she did a spectacular job. And people were amazed that she was new at it. That's Dawn. How many of you all know Dawn? You know I'm telling the truth. Everything she puts her hand to, she does it at a high level, and she is a perfectionist. How do I know? Because I work with her. In the years since the 80s, I've called on Dawn to do other things. Now, I want you to know she's a mother, married to Claude Williams here. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta, very active in that sorority. She's a member of a church, very active in this. How many of you know she is committed to her community? Yesterday we talked about being a part of a village, being a part of a tribe. She showed up in every responsibility, every need, every time her village need protection, Dawn shows up. And as we say back in the day, and shows out. Makes you very proud that you're walking with her, alongside of her, and you get to call her your colleague, your friend, your wife, your buddy. Dawn is excellent. And then I called on her to come and work with me. Well, the tide changed. When I decided I didn't want to work that hard, Dawn said, I like this training stuff. So then she called me. Okay, so I was kind of in. I kind of had it in on there. I was like, well, I guess I can't say no. And then I started following Dawn around. And she would call on me to do, and this is what I want to do. And then she would show up and look at me. She said, so what are we going to do? I'm like, you got us into this. One day, she and someone else who was a former president of the board asked me to come and do a workshop with NASW Wisconsin. I said, okay. We come, we do it. Dawn's sitting there smiling because she set this up. And then she introduced me to this gentleman over here. After the presentation, I think he kind of liked what we did, and I was too embarrassed to say I was a social worker and hadn't paid my dues. So I paid my dues before I showed up. Mark found out, and he said, well, now you're the co-chair of the board of DEI. That was it. I said, okay, these social workers, they get you in there, and then they kind of. So since I've been following behind Mark and Dawn, I've been being very active with NSW because Dawn is involved in it. And she was, I don't know if you all know, she was the vice chair. Is it chair or president of the board? Vice president. She was vice president of the board. And then she became the president of the board. When she's in, how many of you understand? Dawn is, she's in. So then she started bossing me around. And if anybody was at our workshop yesterday, she's still bossing me around. But she's never asked me to do anything or expects me to do anything she doesn't think that I actually can do. So we have a almost like our own little language that we speak. And I say that because I've learned so much from her. I know how to be humble and how to follow her and to listen to her lead. I've got a great idea, and I know I'm about to learn something that I did not know before. For this to be a Lifetime Achievement Award, how many of you know, I think we've just seen the tip. Dawn is all walking into a whole new chapter. And after some of the things that she's had to surmount in her life, I think she has a whole nother group of people she's adding to her community, to her tribe, that she can serve to. So while we're celebrating what she's done so far, how many of you, like me, are looking forward to what she's going to do from this point on? Let's give her a hand. Dawn.
Thank you, Pat. That's my ride and die friend there, right there. And she is right. I did get her into, she said, Dawn, the workshop that we did the other day, she's like, no, we're not. So I said, yeah, well, we're going to do this one. And so when I start talking about, we did one on for African American and Black women, vacate that cape, it's on resilience, and my phrase is vacate that cape. We carry a lot of roles, but sometimes we have to vacate that cape because it has impact on our physical, mental, and spiritual health. And before I go on, because what the keynote speaker said, show up in your authentic self. So I'm going to show up in my authentic self. And for those who know me, I'm honored to receive the award, but I have to take this minute to give God the glory because he has walked along my side for 36 years that I've been in this field. And I have to recognize my husband there who's always been there like, what are you doing now? Let's do this. And I'm like, no, I have to do this. Again, my ride and die friend, always looking for things. And as Kim knows too, that I have to watch myself because I tend to go into systematic stuff. I'm surprised I still have a job sometimes because I will. If I see something that's not right, I'm going to let you know it's not right. And it needs to be changed. So as I've walked along this journey, I also want to thank Mark and NASW and the NASW team, or as I call it, the crew, because they've been very supportive and helpful to me. Because like someone said in one of the workshops I was in, you never know what's going to happen to you in life. And my friend Pat is right. My wheels are spinning because there is a group. So I'm going to ask this question. As social workers, when we see a gap in something, what do? We fill it. Okay, and so I discovered a gap about 2 years ago. Actually, when I was in Minnesota giving a conference, doing a presentation, I had a stroke. So I have taken now on a whole different perspective in life. And I've shared this with many people. No is a perfectly good sentence because my health is my wealth, and I'm going to watch after it, and I'm going to take care of myself. So if I'm preaching this to my clients and my patients, I need to walk the walk. So in addition to that, I just wanted to, kind of add into as we look at social workers here and as for the future, I'm going to give a challenge to everyone in the room. And I'm one of those OG social workers, or those seasoned social workers. I was looking at the young ladies as they came up and went down, and I was like, those shoes are sharp, but I can't wear them heels like that anymore. I am in flats now, tennis shoes. But again, I just want to thank everybody because we need to support each other. Community is important, and all of you are part of my community and my tribe. So I'm going to say to those seasoned social workers and even those new social workers, you are all special. You have a talent and a gift. So pour into another social worker. That's how we keep it going. We pour into each other and we support each other. Because if we don't, and let your light shine. All the other professions, you know, they promote their profession. And when we talked about so many social workers leaving, we need to stop and promote our profession because we have special skills that no other profession has. And I'll share this example. I'm not going to go real long. I'm in a healthcare system, and I lead a special preventive program for women that, you know, are needing assistance to get their preventive breast and cervical cancer screenings. A lot of the, you know, these are, most of them are low-income women who are experiencing a lot of challenges. And the grantor of this program told, when the grant was presented, she said, I want a social worker that's leading that program. So we have to promote what we have. We're good or better than, you know, other professions out there. We're the only profession where you can find all over in some area that we touch lives, whether it's a school, whether it's healthcare, whether it's just in the community, correctional facility, we are there. So let your light shine and pour into others so we can keep it going. Thank you. That's perfect.
Congratulations again to our wonderful award winners, and you're now free to go to your next session.